Hello, hello, hello. And we are diving into the outer component of this training program. And ultimately, the goal, as I stated at the beginning of the series, is for you to have confidence not only in what it is that you're putting out in the world to influence, confidence in how you are connecting with what that is, and ultimately how you're communicating it energetically to the world around you. But also, I want for you to just be able to trust it implicitly, to know how to exchange, interact, and dialogue with this amazing sense of inner authority and wisdom and channel that you have been working towards creating and building throughout the course of this program. I know at this point you've done a lot of different meditations, and all of those meditations have given you insight into different aspects of your feminine channel and insight into the consciousness that you've been creating. And so it's with that I want to share with you the ultimate gift I have found and used in all of the work that I've ever done. It is how I guide and dictate my life, and ultimately know how to trust my own inner authority implicitly. And so with that being said, what we're going to work on in this outer component is what I call the yes no's. And the yes no's are based on your body's ability to communicate with the mind what the intention or desire is, or potentially the thought is, that is meant to be received. So with that being said, it is based on a certain type of science. It's based on the science of kinesiology, essentially. And these yes, no's ultimately fall back on what we know in a lot of the energy world as energy testing. Energy testing is ways to work with the body to determine if something has a truth or a non-truth, a yes or a no. And what they've found in lots and lots and lots of research is that the body itself will, as we know and have been talking about, will hold a charge, and it will keep a loop closed. If a truth is present, the body will keep the loop closed on the circuit that is activated. So for example, we can energy test. One of the most common ones is to energy test, let's say, a certain meridian in the body to see if it's functioning or not. And if it's not functioning and you press on the arm, your arm will drop. No matter what, you will not be able to hold the full strength of your arm staying out in place. But if whatever you're testing is the truth, you will have no problem, because you'll have the full force of your body keeping that circuit and that loop closed. So you have to, for a moment, kind of think about this in the capacity of, like, back to, science class 101, and being able to get the light switch to go on or off depending on if that circuit was closed. That's the mechanics of the yes no. And you can do a little bit more research and work on it. Let me just see. The energy testing was developed by George Goodheart. He's the founder of kinesiology, which is the science that really studies these loops and circuits within the body. And it's based on what they're ultimately looking to do is to determine if an energy pathway is either flowing or blocked, and if it needs outside energy, such as a food, or you can test it also to see if something is harmful or not to the system. What I have adapted this process into being able to do one step further is to be able to connect with the truth that is coming up, the signaling that's coming up from your inner system. So we will go through, you will experience meditations that actually help you identify what a yes is, your core fundamental yes is for your body, and what a no is. If we're here and we're receiving all this wisdom and information from the channel, it goes to stand then that we can understand a simple yes, no. And that breaking down these yes, no's and understanding them is so powerful for your mind. At the end of the day, as you've heard me say in some of the meditations, our mind gets to show up and co-collaborate. But that doesn't always mean that it believes or trusts that it's getting the signal right. So when we can allow for the body to speak with a simple yes or a no, we are giving that power back over to the mind. We're giving that power to the inner authority within us, and we're able to move forward with confidence and without doubt and with certainty that what we're doing is ultimately our best guess at following the path that is most aligned for who we are and what we are here to create. So one other note on yes, no's, and I get into this a little bit more, but it's important to recognize, is that as we've talked about, so it's important to re-emphasize, I should say, that as we've talked about, we are always tuning in to different vibrations. We are tapping into this feminine channel and pulling in these millions of bits, trillions of bits of information. And you have to wonder, okay, well, where is it coming from? There are different places that this energy, as we open our channel, that this energy can come through. Different radio stations, if you will. We've talked a lot about tuning into your specific consciousness. And so if you're wanting to get a yes, no that is truly and fully aligned with your specific consciousness, when we do a yes, no, we always have to drop into that. We have to set the intention that that is what we are dropping into. Because remember, we have other energies that have attached themselves to us that are there. And so we could be tapping into one of those energies. So we always want to clarify with the mind. We just want to set the marker. Hey, I'm going into this bucket. I want to know if this, whatever the question is, maybe it's, should I wear this outfit today? If that's aligned with my consciousness. And a good reason to tune into that is because maybe wearing a blue shirt resonates with somebody on a subconscious level who we may be networking with or trying to influence or connect with. We never know, but it could be that that little signal that we've tapped into, and by dipping into the consciousness of what we're trying to manifest, it is aligned with those other pieces of the puzzle that we can't see. And so it's very important to do that, because if we dip into, let's say, something, the consciousness of our parents, that has no connection whatsoever to a person we may be connecting with or influencing, then we're not going to get the hit that is ultimately going to give them the subconscious clue. I'm going to share with you that I woke up one morning, and it was the morning of a talk. It was a big talk, one of my first talks that I was giving to an audience on this topic. And a good friend of mine had invited me to show up and to do this. And I had everything planned out. I was going to guide a meditation. I had just a couple minutes to speak. So you can imagine, in only having a couple minutes to be able to pull the essence of all of this. You've done an entire video of this, but to be able to pull the essence of it together and deliver what I was showing up that day to deliver as support, most importantly, for my girlfriend that had invited me in to do this, I had done a lot of preparation and a lot of planning, because it took a lot to condense it all into this one piece. And I woke up that day and had a thought that had come through in a dream and an awareness that I was supposed to totally change up the meditation I was going to do and do it in the form or the context of a prayer. You can imagine not having a lot of time, needing to get there extra early, the scramble that occurred in my mind. Well, I went with it. I tested it. I tuned into my consciousness and I said, yes or no, am I really supposed to follow through with this? Or is this just some panic or harebrained idea that I've come up with that, you know, maybe is coming out of old patterning? And sure enough, it was aligned with my consciousness. I strung it together on the drive there and executed it in total alignment and total perfection. Here's where the beauty comes in. I had really set the intention that day to deliver a gift to that girlfriend. And ultimately what showed up is the prayer that came through, which I knew in the context of a song, was a prayer that she had known since she was a little girl and had held extreme significance. There was no way in a million years I could have ever known how profound and how impactful that prayer was in her life, and how meaningful it was for her to have that shared with her community. The prayer is Servant of Peace. I believe it's a Franciscan prayer. I know it through the song Sanatam Kaur sings, called Servant of Peace. And So I just share that because when we're able to develop our yes nos to that level where they're really able to make a difference, that's the kind of impact and influence we can begin to have in our community. So much love, and I will connect with you in the next video.